Hi, welcome back to another exciting video of Top Movies Recap. Today, I'm going to explain a 2003 horror film called Wrong Turn. Wrong Turn is the first in the long-running Wrong Turn film series, of which there have been 7 to date. A 7th film was released earlier this year in January, titled Wrong Turn. It's a reboot to the Wrong Turn film series. The first 6 movies follow the same pattern, while the 7th one falls into a bit of a different storyline. Fans thought the movie somehow didn't fall in line with the previous movies and should have been released as a standalone and not a reboot. Chris Flynn is hurrying home to an appointment along the West Virginia highway when he finds the way ahead blocked by a jackknife truck. He takes an alternate route along an unpaved back road, only to crash into the RV of 5 friends that has had its tires punctured by barbed wire strung across the road. With both vehicles out of action, the group hike back along the road to get help. They then find themselves stalked and hunted by a group of genetically mutated inbred rednecks with seemingly invincible strength who salvage the vehicles and feed upon the bodies of the victims they lure. So let's dive into the story, but before we start, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel to get some interesting stuff in upcoming videos. 2 college students, Hallie Smith and Richard Stoker, are rock climbing in the West Virginia forest. Rich reaches the top while Hallie continues to climb. After Hallie begins to struggle, she notices Rich's bloody hand at the top of the cliff before his body is thrown off the cliff. Someone begins to pull Hallie up the cliff by her climbing rope. She cuts it, making her fall. She attempts to escape to her and Richie's car, but trips over some barbed wire before being pulled back into the woods by an unseen force before being killed. Chris Flynn, a medical student, is driving through the mountains of West Virginia on his way to a job interview. Due to a chemical spill in the road ahead, he is forced to take a different route. He stops at an old rundown gas station and meets an old man. The old man is not helpful, but Chris views a map detailing another possible route that heads straight towards his destination to which he needed to go. Chris decides to take the road, and as he is driving, he crashes into a Range Rover stranded in the middle of the road. The car belongs to a group of friends on a hiking trip: Jesse Burlingame, Carly Newman, her fiancé Scott Corby, and a couple, Evan Ross and Francine Chiles. Jesse finds a piece of barbed wire in the area that was tied to a tree across the road after their tires were punctured. Jesse, Carly, and Scott go to the woods to find help. Chris joins them while Evan and Francine stay with the cars. After Evan and Francine partake in a round of some funky oral sex, Evan starts to fix some luggage before hearing a strange noise and goes to investigate. After a while, Francine notices that he is missing and she goes into the woods to look for him. As Francine ventures further into the woods, she finds his sneaker and his severed ear. As Francine stumbles back, she realizes what is going on in shock. She screams and is still shocked to know what is happening when a figure wraps barbed wire around her mouth, tearing it open and killing her. As Chris, Jesse, Carly, and Scott try to find help, they find an isolated cabin. They go into the cabin and discover miscellaneous objects and human body parts in both the fridge and also the bathroom. They are horrified and try to escape, but they hear the occupants coming back and are forced to hide. Scott and Carly hide in what seems like a room filled with items from throughout the years. Chris and Jesse are forced to hide underneath one of the disgusting cots. 3 cannibalistic mountain men, all whom are extremely disfigured, enter the cabin and bring in Francine's dead body. Chris, Jesse, Carly, and Scott silently watch in horror as her body is brutally butchered and messily eaten. As the cannibals fall asleep, the friends silently escape. However, Sawtooth awakes and alerts the other cannibals and begins to chase the friends throughout the forest. The group climbs up to a nearby clearing with many cars, which they realize are the cars of the cannibals' victims. Chris makes a diversion and is shot in the leg. Scott saves him by using himself as a decoy, allowing Jesse and Carly to steal the killer's truck. Evan is found dead, so Chris gets into the truck and the friends drag down a path close by trying to find Scott. Carly sees Scott in the forest. As Scott starts to make his way towards the truck, he is shot 3 times in the back with arrows and is killed. An arrow almost hits the friends in the truck, although soon Chris urges to drive away and don't stop. The cannibals pick up Scott's dead body and take his dead carcass away. Chris, Jesse, and Carly hit a dead end in the road and have to continue on foot, comforting Carly about her loss. They find an old watchtower and begin to climb up and find a radio and use it to call for help, but do not get a response. Later, they see the cannibals who are armed with torches and reaching the foot of the tower. The radio starts responding to their call, alerting the cannibals. Carly tries to make an urgent response but is interrupted when Three Finger tries to climb into the tower. Three Finger tries to get through the panel on the floor of the tower but is stomped on by Chris. The cannibals then set the tower on fire. Chris, Carly, and Jesse escape by jumping out of the window into a nearby tree. They begin to climb up, but Three Fingers starts to climb up a tree near them. Chris and Jesse begin to climb higher as Carly stands on a branch, too afraid to climb further. Chris and Jesse make it to another tree, but Three Finger sneaks up behind Carly and chops her head in half with an axe, and her body falls through the trees. As Chris and a sobbing Jesse watch in horror, they decide to avenge Carly and trick Three Finger to get hit by a branch and fall out of the tree, giving the last two survivors a chance to escape. They escape from the cannibals and hide in a cave near a waterfall until the next morning, where Chris comforts Jesse. Just as they find a road out of the woods, the mountain men find them and push Chris down the hill and capture Jesse and take her back to their cabin. Chris survives the fall and meets a police officer, but before he is able to convince the officer of what is happening, the police officer is soon killed when an arrow shot from the woods hits him in the eye. Chris attempts to drive away in the car, but does not have the keys, so instead hitches a ride underneath the car as the cannibal drives it back to the cabin. When the cannibal arrives at the cabin, Jesse is tied to a bed and gagged with a belt, begging for help. Outside, the cannibal in the police car arrives with Chris still under and close by. After the cannibal goes inside with the officer's body, Chris gets down from the bottom of the truck. Back inside, as Jesse is about to be killed, the front of the cabin is caught on fire and flames start flying. Soon the front area and the front door is smashed through by Chris, who is now driving the officer's car. He drives straight into the cabin and smashes into one eye, and the cannibal is pinned under the police car. When Chris unties Jesse, he is attacked by Sawtooth. Jesse shoots Sawtooth in the back of the neck with his own bow and arrow. Jesse and Chris also fight Three Finger and finish him off by hitting him with an axe straight into his body. Chris and Jesse notice that the cannibals are still stirring and are alive, and Jesse and Chris quickly go outside. Chris has only one shotgun shell left, which he shoots at the police car's gas carton, blowing up the cabin with the cannibals still inside. Chris and Jesse, driving the cannibals' own truck, stop back at the gas station. Chris, badly injured, gets out of the truck and takes the map to the road, which leads to the cannibals' cabin, so no one will ever go into the woods again. Chris gets back into the truck as Jesse drives down the road and the credits roll. The credits are interrupted by a scene showing a deputy sheriff investigating and picking over the remains of the destroyed cabin. Three Finger, who survived the explosion, comes up behind the deputy officer. The deputy turns to see a shadowy figure holding an axe, and then Three Finger's face is visible as he nods and hollers. The scene fades to black and his insane laughter is heard as the credits continue to roll. We hope you enjoyed our today's video. If you did like this video, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the latest and interesting videos.